Hello, Alex. This is some video feedback for you. It is for all of week 3, but I'll also take a look at your wireframes from this last week's discussion. And in general, I follow the rubric such as they are for 3.2 and 3.2 and 3.3. There is just a two rubric or 2 topics per assignment, so they're pretty easy to get right. And what else? I'll go backwards. I'll take a look at your wireframes first, and then we'll end with 3.1, which was your journal entry, which characterizes your client. You figure out some questions to ask focus groups as well as your client. And they're related really to the wireframes because the way you design your page is also going to be bent towards your audience. So, think about if it's going to be an entertaining family place, if it's going to be a Tony quiet place. All of that, the number of images that you include, the images themselves, the typography, they will support different themes depending on your client. Now, I'm reminded in looking at your wireframes that you are doing your own thing, and that's fine. I'm a little concerned that you would be able to find all the visual resources, images, photography, and so forth. But I think your interest, in doing your own website to promote a product, that's good. It's still a real life situation, and you have as much to learn. I think you can meet the rubrics moving forward too. For wireframes, I like the one where the navigation is at the top, and well, I guess it is rather than ranging down the side. The reason for that is you want the navigation, if at all possible, to be intact on the first screen that a viewer sees. And if it's truncated because it scrolls down the left, it might be awkward. As you develop these, think about previewing them on a variety of devices. And so as you mount pages on the web, look at them in your browser on your cell phone, or if you have a tablet or an iPad, take a look at them on that way too. Alex, I've opened up your page in Safari for the Macintosh, and there's this neat feature under the Developer tab, which is off screen here, Show Page Source. This splits the window and allows me to see your code. I see that you're experimenting with embedded style sheets, not quite working yet, but I do see that you have met the requirements of the rubric. The first was, have you formatted a heading with the corporate color, and I see that I'm assuming that this green is one of your company's corporate colors. Do you have a style guide for your company? Is there something that you can follow so that you don't have to evolve every visual asset? Just a question. You've been able to upload to GeoCities here. It's not clear to me how you're going to handle a week's worth, say, of index, or 6 weeks worth of index.html. Just know that you don't want to be overwriting your files, but just something to think about. You have met the requirements of the rubric. I also wanted to point out this script, which will appear in your code if you're viewing it live. It is something that is placed there by GeoCities, so don't worry too much about it. It's just there to make your page identifiable and searchable. Here's something else that GeoCities tacks onto your page. In the end, nothing is for free, right? Hey, I appreciate all these comments, these meta comments, and that bodes well for week 6 and 7, where you optimize your sites for search engines, and you apply search terms, meta tags that aid search engines in locating your site. So good job, you've met the requirements of the inline styling rubric. Alex, your visual sitemap is adequate. This is somewhere between a wireframe and a visual sitemap, but I appreciate that you did it in Adobe Sketch on an iPad, and there's more than one way to skin a cat. So I appreciate that. I would be expecting to see a little bit more detailed coding, though, of your sitemap, and by that I mean you've got the beginnings, perhaps, of a sitemap, but I would expect to see all of your initial links with dummy URLs attached to them. That list of links will become your navigation scheme. And so you might want to refresh yourself with Chapter 2 of HTML5 Foundations. There is a tutorial there. It's about a pizzeria, but I think you could adapt it. And that will show you the steps necessary to get from an unordered list of links to your navigation scheme. Now, Alex, about the student examples, that some of them are very advanced, and I may have shown you one example where these long URLs that all functioned. Well, at some point they didn't for that student. But anyway, it looks like you're on your way to understanding file organization, and as long as this looks like what's on your hard drive of your computer, then you'll be okay. So I see that you have a folder for images, a folder for media. So you have been paying attention to the examples I've given you. Just know that there are many ways of organizing your site. Your site file management will be something different than maybe what I envisioned, and that's okay. I would expect to see that. But you have met the file management structure part of the rubric for milestone 1. Alex, this is particularly important for you to go through, since your client is is neither town nor Pasta Amore. So it looks like you've spent considerable time in defining your target audience. You've thought about questions to ask both the client, which I'm assuming is you, as well as the focus group. So good going on that. You have considered other types of market research. Have you thought about some of the technological tools that you could use, such as Google Analytics? There's also some resources that are free under our noses. There's the U.S. Census. There are some paid data resources, such as Nielsen. But you think about some technological tools that you could add to your quiver and share with us that would aid in market research.